What's up, guys? Thank you for joining me today on Instinctive Addiction Archery. I'm your host, Jeff Phillips. Hope and pray that you'll find this video helpful and inspiring in every kind of way. All right, you say, what you got going on today, Jeff? Well, I'm going to tell you guys. I've got something in my hand that I've waited 1 solid year to get. 1 solid year to get my hands on this bow. Got it 2 days ago. Finally. Finally. The 62-inch version of the infamous Sanlida Hermit 10. Okay? Guys, long story short, I had the very first Hermit. They called them an X10 back then. I had the very first one in the United States of America. I was the only American that had one, man. I kind of discovered this bow through dealing with the Sanlida company back years ago. They had that bow in production, and it had actually been stopped. Production was no longer going on the bows. Well, I got a hold to one, and I was so blown away, I just fell in love with it. I really did. Guys, it was a real deal. Really good bow. So, long story short, they put it back in production, okay, and sold tons of them. All right, but they promised me a 62-inch model. We worked on this design for a long time, and it all came from the Olympic limb. They have a Miracle 10 and a Mid 10, but they got a Miracle 10 Olympic recurve. Well, I took limbs off of an Olympic recurve that were medium limbs, making a 62-inch bow on a 19-inch riser. I shot their Sanlida Miracle 10 limbs on my hunting riser off of my Hermit X10 riser. Well, let's just say I was blown away. The performance was insane. I mean, real performance. And super smooth, okay, because they were a 24-inch limb. All right, so I hit them up. I said, why don't you make a 62-inch version for the guys with longer draw lengths? I mean, I only draw 27 inches, but let's just say there's a lot of guys out there that draw 28, 29, 30, 31, 32-inch draws on recurves. They don't need a 60-inch bow. They need at least a 62. Okay, it took a solid year for them to not only develop, put the hunt and finish, everything on this carbon foam carbon foam core limb, and put it in production and get it to us in a hunting package, okay? That's how it happened. They're super cool people. They really do listen to what we suggest here. They really do, because our traditional community is just massive, okay? But, guys, they are very good people. Very good people. I love them. They listen, they do, they produce, okay? End of story. So it took a while, but it's here. The 62-inch Sanlida Hermit 10. I'm going to show you guys this bow. Of course, we're going to shoot it, and I'm going to kind of explain a little bit of the difference between it and the 60, kind of in feel and what you can expect. Number one, these limbs are 1 inch longer. Each limb is 1 inch longer than what you get on a 60-inch. Why? Because they are short limbs. These are mediums. What we would consider medium limbs. This is a 24-inch limb, okay? And it's labeled on the limb, top, bottom, the size, the spec, everything about it. And they are dead on weight, okay? You do have adjustability, but these limbs come in dead on weight. So, here's what you got. You have a Sanlida carbon foam core limb, ILF connection limb. You have a 19-inch riser. Now, guys, you're going to be asking me this, so I'm going to go ahead and answer this right up front. They have a new riser design. Yes, they do, with 1, 2, 3 holes, 3 cutouts in the riser, okay? It's luck of the draw which one you get. There is no difference in the risers, the ones that have the 2 cuts and the ones that have the 3, other than maybe an ounce or 2 in weight. When I got my new one, it's a 2 cut, like the older ones. The last one I got has 3. Okay, they feel the same, they look the same, they shoot the same. But there's just a little bit difference in the cutouts. So if you're wondering about that, if whatever's in the warehouse, whatever they've manufactured, they're not going to not use the older design and use them and sell them. They're not going to do that until they're all gone. But they have started manufacturing one with 3 cuts in it, okay? So as these things sell, all of them will have the 3 cutouts in the riser, but they're all 19-inch risers with the same grip, same everything. Now I want to get to the grip on this bow. Out of all ILF bows with a stock wood grip that I have ever had in my hand, this was no doubt my 1000% favorite. And I'll tell you why. Because it is a low wrist angle grip. If you're a compound shooter coming over to traditional and you want to shoot an ILF rig bow, this thing is low. I would even call it extra low. And it has got a flat. If you look at that, guys, they have put a flat. They put a flat where your hand absolutely locks in and just sits there. There's no torquing, no moving whatsoever. It is awesome. I'm telling you, this is the best feeling wood grip on the market, period. It is. I have not found one that I like anywhere near what I do this. Now, other grips that are molded, injected, rubber grips, plastic grips, whatnot, there's a multitude of those out. And you can get custom grips for any bow, like Archery. You can get anything you want, but what comes on these, you're not going to want to change, okay? You're not going to. All right, so you have a carbon foam core limb. You have a 19-inch machined aluminum. Here's the difference, guys. If you say, okay, well, what's the difference? Why does this bow cost $100 more than a T-bow does? Well, I'll tell you, because a T-bow is a genuine knockoff. Even though they shoot fabulous, they're a knockoff of a Hoyt Satori. What's the difference between it and a Hoyt Satori? They are molded. They are injection molded aluminum risers, cast, if you will. They are not machined risers. This bow has a machined riser. These, whether it be the 2-slot or the 3-slot, makes no difference. It is a fully machined T6061 T6 aluminum, fully machined riser with the best ILF components that money can buy, period. Okay? Real top quality, as good as it gets. All right? So, it's not a cheap riser, and it's got the weight to it. There is a difference. There's a difference. Also, the difference between this bow is absolute performance. You take a standard maple core limb, maple and glass limb, you cannot compare at all the performance difference between a carbon foam core limb. This is an Olympic style limb. It's consistent, the weather doesn't bother it, it stays the same year round, it makes no difference what, it's just very, very consistent, okay, and very fast. Okay, so that's the difference in these bows. Now, the strings that come with them. These are actually B55 strings. And they are very quiet and very smooth. They really are. Can you shoot D97? Absolutely you can. Can you shoot anything you want on this bow? Absolutely you can. Will it be as quiet as the string they send with it? No, it will not. You will pick up a little more sound unless you shoot a heavier air or play with your tiller and make some adjustments and add some more string silencers and whatnot. And it's all because of contact against the limb. So what I typically do is if I do change them, and there's no need. There's just no need to change these other than aesthetics, okay? They're not the most beautiful string in the world. I love triple T strings. I love my customs. I have Trevor build me custom B55s for these bows because I want these bows as quiet as they can be because I'm going to hunt with them, okay? But will you gain feet per second if you shoot even a D97? Yes, typically 4 to 5 feet per second in speed gain. Yes, you are going to. And in most cases, and especially in a 62-inch bow with the brace height set correctly, the tiller set correctly for how you're hooking the string, they are not going to be loud anyway. They're not, because even when I had a D97 triple T string on my 60, it was very quiet. Very, very quiet. I just got it quieter than it was by running a B55, okay? Only for hunting. Now, if I'm shooting competition, if I'm shooting 3D, whatever, I want the fastest string I can get on the bow. That's what I want, okay? So, that's what I do. Now, the string, let me tell you what comes with these bows. What comes with them, you're not going to be able to use. And I've already suggested this to them, and they are working on including this in a package. I have added a center rest. You can use a NAP, New Archery Products, flipper rest, or you can put a center rest on. You could spend $10 or you could spend $25. Whatever you choose to do doesn't matter. I have both. I love both. This is a center rest, which is nothing but a little thread that threads into the bow, and you just stick the plunger on. You just adjust it back and forth by this nut till you get your center shot what you want. You lock it down, you're done. You don't touch it again, okay? So it took me all of about 30 seconds, probably, between 30 seconds and 1 minute, literally, to make my adjustment with this thing. They shoot amazing. In other words, guys, you can't shoot off the shelf unless you build the strike plate up. So it comes back to this part here. If you'll notice, it is very nicely radiused. It has a very nice radius to shoot off the shelf. However, it is cut well past center. Very well past center. Look how deep that is. You cannot just put the pad that they send. You can't just put that on there and shoot. Your arrow is going to group 4 to 5 inches to the right. There's no way. It doesn't move it over enough. There's not enough buildup. So I suggested to them this. I said, guys, either include a rest like this that somebody can put on and easily adjust it and get it set up like they want, or do like Tebow is doing, cloning the Satoris, in that they are including the modules, side plate modules. See, Satoris come with that. They come with a strike plate, and they come with shims that go behind them. There's 3 shims that come in the pack. So you can use 0 or you can use all 3 to move it out as far as you want. When you put it through, you can move that strike plate in and out to adjust your center shot. Well, these bows don't come with anything. They come a naked riser with nothing but a piece of felt for the shelf and one for the strike plate. When you put those on, you're nowhere near center shot. So every one of them, I have to either put a center rest on it or I have to build up the strike plate, okay? Building up the strike plate is not hard. You can do it with most anything, but what it comes with is not enough. It's just not. Because typically, when you're running an arrow, guys, your center shot on a bow, what you want on a traditional bow, now you can run almost dead center shot, but if you're looking down that string, guys, if you're looking down that string, you want that arrow just barely off center, just out just a little bit. You do. That's where they're going to tune the best. But the way they come, in other words, if I only had the material on here that they supplied, and I knock this arrow, I want you to look this, guys. Look how far over that is. That is so far past center, I could probably never make that work without adding a 1/16 to an 1/8 of an inch of side plate material. Just wouldn't have enough, because you can see how far from there, how far this is off right here. See how far out it is? That's a full 1/4 of an inch from where this thing is cut to get an arrow to tune, okay? So you're gonna have to do something with that. My suggestion, do like me, spend a couple of dollars and order you a center rest or an NAP flipper rest, which has the Teflon coated arm. They are excellent, okay? Cost a little bit more, but they're excellent. They work so good, they're bulletproof, especially for hunting. They're really, really good. So once I set mine up, and I set my brace height up 7.5 inches. These bows like a 7.5 inch brace height. That's what they like. And I shoot a 5/8 inch above center knock. In other words, if I ran my square from here where the arrow sits to the string, my top knock is 5/8 of an inch above center, okay? Shooting 3 fingers under. If I was shooting split finger, I would have it 1/2 inch above center. It doesn't have to have quite as much angle as you do shooting 3 under, okay? Super simple setup. Now, I'm gonna get to this and we're gonna shoot this bow. Tiller. When you measure your tiller, you simply take your square from right here to the string, right here to the string. I tiller mine dead even. Dead even. Shoots amazing out of these bows for 3 under. If you're gonna shoot split finger, you're going to want positive tiller. You're going to want to back out the limb bolt on the top a little more than the bottom and give you just a little bit more space. When I say a little, 1/8 of an inch is generally magic. It is. You can go a little more if you want to, but 1/8 inch it just works, okay? So that's how you tiller a bow. Now the mechanical aspect of it on these ILF risers is simply there is a hole, and I've had guys ask me this. They said, man, I can't get this thing to adjust. Did you unlock the lock nut? What lock nut? There is a hole right here that lines up perfectly with the limb bolt. There is a hole in the back. It's an access hole. The same Allen key that you adjust your limb bolt with, you unlock the nut at the back. You simply stick it in there, pop it loose, turn it back 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds, whatever, to get it completely loose. Then you can adjust your tiller bolts, whatever you want, then lock your nut back down. There is a lock nut inside here that locks that tiller bolt where it can never, ever, ever move once you set your tiller settings, and it also gives you poundage adjustment. I have mine almost bottomed out. You never want to shoot them completely bottom out, but I've got them almost bottom. So I could go out, say 4 rounds on this thing very easily and probably come off 2.5 to 3 pounds of poundage because of the limb angle it's going to put on it. But these bows perform better when they're closer to bottomed out. They really do. So you just want to order your limbs like these are 40-pound limbs. And they're maxed out 40 pounds. That's what they're going to do. They're dead on. Now, could you make it be 37 pounds? Absolutely you can. You can take your limb bolts out, tiller it up, and you could probably come out with about 37 pounds. So if you wanted 42 pounds, buy some 45-pound limbs, simply back them out a little bit. But we're going to get to shoot just a little bit. I'm going to show you what this thing will actually do and how incredibly smooth it is for $300. Let's just see how the arrows fly in the wind and how the bow actually shoots at distance. Here we go. Smoked him. Smoked him. Oh my God, and the arrow flew so amazing. Just like a laser. Heavy front of center and a super stable bow will allow you to increase your distance. I hope you guys have enjoyed this today. I'm glad I could bring you Sanlida's new bow and show you what it's all about. The 62-inch Hermit 10, available on Amazon. You can get them straight from their website, whatever. But these are Amazon bows. Typical shipping time, 4 to 5 days. It will be at your doorstep. $299. You cannot beat it, guys. So thank you for joining me on Instinctive Addiction Archery. Till next time, God bless you.